Jonathan Kinlock, and I'm the Vice President of the Detroit Library Commission. On behalf of the Detroit Library Commission, I welcome you to this renovated Parkman Branch. The Parkman Branch opened at this location on April 16, 1931. It is named in honor of the American historian Francis Parkman. This branch was the 18th library opened in the Detroit library system. The Parkman Branch has undergone extensive renovations to accommodate a new technology, literacy, and career center. The building received roof repairs, a new HVAC system, mechanical and electrical and equipment upgrades, new flooring, and extensive cosmetics. The Detroit Library Commission is proud to present this library to the citizens of Detroit, and equally proud to our new partnership with the Knight Foundation. It is our hope that through this library, many Detroiters will learn to read, get help in finding jobs, gain access to technology, resources. It is my pleasure also now to introduce our Executive Director of the Detroit Public Library, Joanne G. Mondowney, as well as I would like to take this time to recognize one of my colleagues on the Detroit Library Commission, Commissioner Russ Ballant, who's also here with us.
I would like to thank the John L. and James S. Knight Foundation for having the vision and the wherewithal to support this project. We are at a time in public libraries where, to paraphrase a great book line, it is the best of times and it is the worst of times. Economically, it's probably the worst of times. But as far as where libraries are going to support its community, it is the best of times. And we are able to continue on this path because of the funding that we've received to re-energize the library and to show how we are playing the 21st century game by introducing the public to technology in a huge way. And I would like to thank Juliet Mackey, who was the driver in this initiative, and there were plenty of staff who worked very hard, including Cletus Powell, who helped with the renovation. He's back there. We need to give him a great round of applause. And the commissioners, and there were a lot of staff who you will hear about a little later. Now, in addition to the library services and programs that will be offered in this library, we have this special initiative that's going to allow the public to have access to technology in a huge way. We're going to be working with literacy, technology, and access to the internet and so forth. I'd like to thank all of you for being here, and now it is my privilege to introduce Ms. Meredith Hector from the Knight Foundation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. The pleasure is really mine, so thank you again, everyone, for being here and for your partnership and for your insight. On behalf of the Knight Foundation, I just want to say what a pleasure it is to be part of this great vision for what information can bring to a community. As a library, you all, of course, know the importance of access to good information and information in the digital age. Knight Foundation believes that access to information is a core community need, as essential as good schools, safe streets, and clean air. Knight Foundation has embarked on a multi-million-dollar initiative to support the role of libraries in Knight communities as centers for personal transformation and community engagement. We have made grants to 27 public libraries so far, totaling $6.7 million, including $866,000 for this Technology, Literacy, and Career Center, and we are delighted to partner with you in that effort. Okay. The Detroit Public Library's efforts complement Knight Foundation's Universal Access initiatives and position libraries as digital centers helping residents use technology and the internet to enrich their lives. This technology center shows this community and this library's deep understanding of this community's many different needs, as well as your innovation in delivering these critical services. So again, hats off to all of you. Knight is honored to have been part of this project, and we see it as an example for other communities. We know very clearly that you all are taking a leadership role, and we commend you on that vision and that willingness to be on the forefront of meeting literacy and digital needs for community residents. So with that, again, I just want to make it very brief and congratulate all of you and thank you all for this opportunity. And I do want to thank specifically two of my colleagues. One, my previous colleague, Brenda Price, who served as the program director for Knight here in Detroit. She was certainly instrumental in making this work happen here. And to my colleague, George Martinez, who is the Director of Information Services at the Knight Foundation and the workhorse behind our digital access initiatives and our library work in particular. So did want to acknowledge their hard work in these efforts and, again, all of your efforts. So thank you very much.
Anytime you get an opportunity to reopen a library, that is a huge deal for us, especially in a city where we talk about the literacy levels being the way that they are. The joblessness being the way that it is as well. It's important for us to do everything we can to improve the lives of our children as well as their parents, the adults here. So that's why I'm so very pleased that the TLC Center is here as well. You know, that's very crucial to the jobs. Very crucial. And, you know, I love this neighborhood because there's a lot of resources now that are being poured into this neighborhood, this community rather. And it's important that the most important and most vital commodity, the people, remain as hopeful as possible, because I know for a fact that not only will this community re-energize the city of Detroit, the city as a whole will be re-energized as long as we continue to work toward those things that are going to improve the quality of life for our children and the adults. I'm not going to be long, but I did want to bring those remarks, and I bring gifts as well. I bring a testimonial resolution on behalf of the Detroit City Council, and I won't read all of the whereas, but I'll just go down to the bottom to the resolved part that says, now therefore it be resolved that on this, the 20th day of January in the year 2011, Councilman James E. Tate Jr. and the entire Detroit City Council salutes the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation for its commitment to technology, access, and literacy. The Knight Foundation's long-term commitment to the city of Detroit, as well as the Detroit Public Library, is a critical component to erasing literacy and enhancing the quality of life for all Detroiters. Congratulations, and this is exactly what happens when the public and the private sector works together collaboratively to improve the quality of life of all. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, all. My name is William Jones. I'm the CEO of Focus Hope, and I can't tell you how delighted I am at the reopening of the Parkman Library. It's a tremendous access point and an anchor point in this community and right here on Oakland Boulevard, because we're working hard down there to provide educational opportunities and training opportunities, and working with the Parkman Library is just going to be fantastic. You know, last year when we were pulling it together for a Promised Neighborhood application, we reached out to Parkman and the folks at the library, and they were delighted to work with us on that application. Well, we didn't get the grant, but what we did is pull together a resolve to work in this neighborhood to make sure that the educational opportunities are as strong and as vibrant as they can possibly be. And we're committed to doing that. And we're committed to working here with the folks at Parkman. We have used other funds in the form of a Connect Your Communities grant, which is determined to create 5,250 sustained broadband adopters here in Detroit, and members of our Connect Your Communities team are here as well in furtherance of that effort, and we look forward to working with DPL to make this a very, very exciting, one more access point to opportunity. As a kid growing up, I had access to two libraries. One was a drugstore on the corner where I'd go and read comic books. I couldn't afford to buy them, so like a lot of you, I stood there and read them. The other was a public library, and it was extremely important in my development and my access. So I'm delighted to see this happening. I also want to acknowledge the presence of our board chair, Dr. Price, here is the chair of the board for Focus Hope. So on behalf of the entire Focus Hope family, we are so excited and so happy to see this building lit up the way it is. It's another great access point here on Oakland Boulevard for us. So thank you very, very much.
Just about this time last year, we undertook an initiative to see what was the best way we could help our community. We gathered with a lot of community leaders and asked them what would be the best way that we could use our resources to help. And the thing that came to the forefront was literacy, helping people learn to read, and especially adults. So Since last May, we undertook a program to connect with the Detroit Public Library and connect our listeners with the literacy program and what Susan Taylor and Juliet and her staff are doing. So this is something that we started last May. It's been a consistent program on all of our stations. There's PSAs that run every week consistently, and it's on every one of our websites, and it directs people to the Detroit Public Library. We're very, very happy and honored to be part of this program, and I'm encouraged to hear from speaking with Susan just a few minutes ago that it's working. We're getting people from all over the metro area coming to the Detroit Public Library who want to learn how to read or teach someone to read, so it's going in both directions. And our goal is that people will be able to enjoy this fine facility, those of us who love to read and those who want to learn how to read. So it's really an honor to be here today. I thank all of you, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It is now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. I'm not going to give him a long introduction because he's also going to be speaking at our Tudor Appreciation Dinner this evening. And he is Dr. Adolph Brown. And he will speak for himself. Dr. Brown.
Good afternoon. Congratulations.
Yes. Come on right here. Check out the books? Yes. Where? I mean, all this talking, can we check out some books?
Yes, we'll check out the books.
Where? Right here. Over here?
Yes, come on, sir. I'll help you. Just come with me.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Adolph Brown. Don't judge a book by its cover. Give it up for my assistant, Jawanza Sabir. What did I learn from books? I learned that you shouldn't judge them by its cover. What did I learn from books? I learned that the tree was in the seed. And when I say the tree is in the seed, ladies and gentlemen, many of you saw me this morning. Or better yet, this afternoon. You saw me. But not many of you spoke to me. Now, I realize we got a lot of cheese over here, got a cake to cut, but I just want to recognize the individuals right now that understand character. As we talk about 21st century life skills, the more you learn, the more you earn. I just want to talk about the people that understood character, who you are when nobody's watching. Ma'am, I want to talk about you for a moment, because you spoke to me this morning. You told me about that wonderful foundation that you have. You told me that cooperation is more important than competition could ever be. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't know. There were a few other, this lady right here. Lady right here. When you came in, you saw me. And you greeted me with that old-fashioned thing called a smile. You see, relationships still get results. You know, I go to places, I do this all over the world, not just this country. And I meet people that run for office, but then walk for individuals. I want to remind everybody, I'm going to start with my conclusion. Love has the final answer. And you showed me love today. When I talked to you about books, when you showed me the different sections, when you told me about technology, you didn't know who I was. Give it up for this lady, everybody. If it weren't for books, I'm not sure you could have called me Dr. Adolph Brown, one of the youngest full-tenured university professors in this country, if it weren't for books. If it weren't for books, I might have not understood etiquette today. Etiquette, that gentlemen don't wear their hats indoors. That if I want a job in this economy, that this is no longer a do-rag, it's a don't-rag, and I should do my due. If it weren't for books, I wouldn't have known to have clothes that fit me. Ladies and gentlemen, because of books, you're looking at a young man whose father left when I was 2. I didn't see him again until I was 18. One income couldn't afford 2 households. We moved to the inner city projects. My oldest brother, my hero, was murdered when I was 11. There weren't doctors and lawyers in my community. But books let me know that the world was so much bigger than my community. My mother, everybody talks about economic disparity when it comes to illiteracy. Yes, we can talk about that, but I want to talk about something that's more pertinent, and it starts at home. It's called role modeling. Parents that read have children that read. Parents that show a love for books have children that show love for books. If it weren't for books, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be challenging some of you. You know who you are. This is a very small group for us. We usually address about 20,000 people or so. We could be in a circle this afternoon singing Kumbaya. But you know who you are. If I walked past you and you went, What, is the library not open for me? Is the library not open for people who dress like I was dressed? I just shared with you that if it weren't for books, if it weren't for a public library like this one, that I wouldn't be standing here today behind this lectern. In my travels, every time I go somewhere, I'm greeted and we're instructed that if we see soldiers, that we should applaud. Well, I got a challenge today. I wish every librarian in the United States had to wear a uniform so that when we see them, we would applaud. And they didn't give me much time, so I said I'd start with my conclusion. And my beginning, I said that love has the final what? Answer. In donating funds to libraries, we do it because of the love. For every educator in this room today, we know you don't do it for the income, you do it for the outcome, the love of it. I like to use parables wherever I go because my role model used them and he was quite successful. The parable goes like this. A man came home from work. He was tired. He was exhausted. They told me he worked in a library in the state of Michigan. Said he wanted to give up because people weren't reading. They didn't take reading seriously. Said he wanted to give up because people just didn't respect his books. Said someone came in the library and threw some orange juice on him one day. He wanted to give up. He went home. He told his wife, I think I'm going to give up. She said in an era where we live in a connected culture in a digital decade where everybody thinks that email is important, which it is, but an email is just as important. And if you got that, I need you to put your hands together. The wife said, don't give up. The wife says, there's a lot of things that I've wanted in life that I haven't gotten either. She said, don't give up. She thought her husband wanted happiness. And he said, I did at one time. But she explained to him that happiness was fleeting. It comes and goes. She said, maybe it's joy. The wife then turned to the children, and the husband turned to the children, and they asked the children, well, what do you think it would take for me to continue on my mission? For every political figure in this room, every librarian, every educator, every clergy, everyone that makes this machine run well. From this day forward, you do not have a job in Detroit. You have a mission, and it's a mission without a finish line. The children said, as only the children could say, Mom and Dad, I bet, Dad, if you took love with you every day to that library, I bet if every day you went to that library and you smiled, you know, relationships yield results. We want to talk about technical skills. We better remember soft skills. I can give you tons of research about Fortune 500 companies, who they let go first. It's the people that don't work well in teams. Doesn't matter your college degrees or how lawfully you're educated. Do you play well with others? Now, you laugh. I got to tell you what happened. I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to tell you now. One guy came up to me this morning and gave me a good old-fashioned Detroit welcome, and I've been to Detroit many, many, many times, but I've never been greeted like this. He came up to me, he smiled, I thought he was cool. And the next thing I know, he just started doing me like this. That was okay. He was patting me down. The joke's on him. I've been on tour for 2 weeks. I missed my wife. It felt good. If you see him around, tell him I want to do it again when I'm finished. The children said, Mom, Dad, take love with you to that library. Take love with you to Detroit. Take it with you to City Council. Take it with you to board meetings. Take it with you to the foundation. Take it with you on your mission. The dad went back to that library. And something was a little different about that dad, about that man on a mission. Everybody that saw that man said that he was the epitome of love. When I say love has the final answer, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying that wherever love goes, success and joy are sure to follow. Don't lose sight of love in all that we're doing today. Very seldom do you have people even talk about love anymore. Educators love it. But you hear administrators talking about it. City council people do it for the love of it. But sometimes you don't see love in the meetings. And I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, but I know whether they're televised or not. I said, that's right. I read the news. Ladies and gentlemen, remember excellence and all. Everybody's running around talking about it, but this is how I'm going to leave. Excellence being not perfection, but progress. You're going to cut the ribbon today, but don't be a stranger. This should be a library with standing room only. When I yelled out, help me, that I wanted to check out a book, that same wonderful service that you were giving me while the cameras were on is the same wonderful service that children should get when the cameras are off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end with excellence. Not perfection, but progress. Excellence is this. You helped me to find it, and I got to go. We have to be better this year than we were. We have to be better this month than we were. We have to be better today than we were. I applaud each and every one of you. Thank you.